What is going on, Gamer XP here, bringing you guys a video. It was going to be an unboxing video, but I screwed up my last video, which was 22 minutes long, and I just said screw it. So we're just going to go jump right into what it's all about, what we're going to be showing you, and it is a controller. We're going to go through the past life of the updating controllers. So first off, we're going to start off right off the bat with the old 360 controller. Now, these are all modified controllers that are either modified by Scuf or Cinch, but I only have Scuf controllers because that's who I preferred to go with when I was purchasing these controllers. One, Scuf was the biggest name talked about, and that's the only company I knew, so that's why. But we're going to jump straight into it. Scuf controller already with the 360 version, automatically plugged in. 4 paddles, which can be remapped with the remapping button right here, which was pretty sweet. I mean, if you really thought about it, you could map this thing to whatever buttons you wanted to use. Trigger stops on the outside. Didn't really damage controller, but you could pull them out if you wanted to play GTA or anything else like that, which is really cool. But that's it on that controller. That is it. Jumping over to this controller, which is the Xbox One version of the Scuf. 4 paddles with the side winders to make it a little more closer to your hands or easier to reach in a sense. But they're very sturdy, a little hard to push down. I mean, it's not hard to push down, but they're very sturdy to push. This is now where we introduced, I mean, they've had the paddle, or they had the gamer grip here back on these controllers as well, but they really perfected it with this on this controller too, and also back here on this controller, they redesigned the back of the controller so your hands would fit better with it. So that was another cool feature. But back to this, trigger stops are hidden inside the controller, but actually made it harder for if you were to switch between games. You actually had to break off this back piece and remove the trigger stops if you wanted to play GTA 5 or any other game that involved you to actually push down the trigger the entire way, or you could remove these little pins, but heck, I think I lost those pins. Anyhow, another feature that they had is the remapping key that you could plug in on the back here, which I actually don't know where it is, and I'm not looking to find it. So you could remap it, excuse me, and do all those fun things. And then this is actually where you could remove the back piece of this, but I'm not going to do that. But anyhow, then they introduced the D-pad that was a full circle, which you could actually remove if you wanted the normal analog, which is pretty sweet. But the big game changer that is coming into play, if I can put this thing back on. Now that we got that back on, we're going to jump over to what the controller that I've been wanting to show you this entire time, the Xbox One Elite. Now, I already have this thing set up to the way I want it to be, but I will show you guys some of the extra features and the other things that you guys can get with this controller. Already, right off the bat, you can see the crazy chromatic D-pad that is a full circle that you can basically push anywhere and do 360 pushing. It's insane. Easily removable to a green D-pad, but that's not the D-pad you should be using. So you get this little case. Make sure that your controller stays safe when you're traveling, if you do travel. Inside the case, you get an extra D-pad, 4 extra thumbsticks, and then little slots to put your paddles in if you ever want to. But you can easily remove this and pop it on your controller just like that. Make it look like a normal controller. But I like this new D-pad here, so we're gonna just stick that back on there. Now, within this case, you get a little pad that raises the controller. Anyhow, in the case also you have 2, which actually it comes on the controller off the bat, is the 2 smallest analog sticks you can get. Then you have 2 long analog sticks. Now these both are concaved analog sticks, so if you liked the dome, you want to select the medium-sized dome stick. Okay. Analog stick here, domed analog stick, which is what I have, and they are the medium-sized. So it's, you know, it's basically what a Scuf, not a Scuf, but basically what a Control Freak is to raise up and make it very flexible for you to use. So that is very nice and awesome. And now you can see that there's this new little piece right here, which you can select what kind of setting you want to be on. There's technically 3 settings in all. Under configure 1, you can actually have 2 slots, and under configure 2, you can only have 1 slot. So technically you have about 3 ways to really set up your controller if you really wanted to, in a sense. Now, when we move over to the back, you can see that the paddles are already in place. They are very easy to touch. I mean, very easy to touch. I was playing Rainbow Six today with this controller just to kind of test it out to make sure I knew everything about it before I did this. And I was jumping over my little metal barricade, and it actually got me killed because of that. So it's very easy to touch. You can pretty much set up the paddles to any buttons you want. RB, yeah, right bumper, left bumper, right trigger, left trigger, or your 2 analog sticks, any button on the D-pad, and all these buttons. So you can set your paddles to everything on there, which is awesome in all ways, shapes, or form, because now I have a hip firing button. I can shoot with this paddle without even having to pull the trigger. So when I get the crap scared out of me, I just pull the paddle. Anyhow, so these are also easily able to be detached if you really wanted to, because you don't want to play with the paddles. You can easily detach it. It's not hard, and they're easily able to be replaced right like that. Now you can also swap them. If you wanted to put this up on top, you would just pull this out and rotate it onto this side and put it to the top. I don't know why you would want to do that, but they do all move to different slots if you really want to. You can also play with just 2 paddles, or you can play with all 4. Now, you probably see these little green dots over here, but they're little sliders that can adjust if you want trigger stops or not, which is really nice. So when they're up, that's when you do not have trigger stops. When they are down, you trigger stop, baby. So, which is really sweet because it's easy to do, easy to change and make the difference into how you want to play. Also, inside on the Xbox accessories, which is automatically downloaded to your console, you can actually change the dead zone of where your triggers don't actually get picked up to when they do get picked up, which is really cool. But I don't know why you would have that in a sense. If you're doing trigger stops, you obviously are going to be stopping wherever they are stopping. The dead zone actually decreases. So with the dead zone, if I pull here, dead, 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 until I actually click where I wanted it to be. Now it's not the other way around. It doesn't go from the bottom up. It goes from when you push down to the back, which is, it's kind of confusing to me on why you would want to do that, but maybe a game will come out where you want to do it. Now, what's really neat about this too is you can actually customize how your analog sticks react to your touch. You can select it to the point where you could be aggressive and it moves instantly, or you could be smooth where it smoothly transitions from how your finger pulls the analog, or you can have it delayed where until it stops moving, then the analog. I mean, it's crazy on what all you could do with this thing, and it's amazing. Now, also within this with the controller and the Xbox accessories on the console, you can pretty much set this up to any game that you want. Right now, I have it set up for R6, but inside the console now, because Call of Duty has left Xbox, it does not have a Call of Duty setting for Black Ops 3, but it has a Halo setting for Halo multiplayer, Halo, a ton of different things, and other games as well. So you can automatically just click on one of those, and it will automatically set it up to the way you want the well, how they feel that competitive players or gamers would want this controller to be set up as, which is really sweet and awesome for you to be customized. Now, in the end as well, they give you a braided cord with this controller as well, which is in a nice little black box. But there's a green button up here that enables you to disable and enable the paddles on the back. When you disable it, you press it twice and you'll feel, I think it's 5 vibrations, which tells you the paddles are off. When you double click it again, you'll feel 1 long vibration, which means that they are back on. Now, another thing that you can also do is when you're playing, your triggers will vibrate and the bottom of your controller will vibrate like always. Now, the trigger vibration is a new thing, but you can turn that off if you really want to. Same as well with these. You can change how much they vibrate, and as well as you can change the light on your controller. So if you're running on batteries, you can turn all the vibrations down and the light on the controller all the way down, so that's not an issue at all, which is really sweet. Why, save battery life on your controller. Awesome. So the last feature that I really noticed on this controller is this little port right there. Now, this is for a direct plug into your headset. If you have the Elgato chat adapter, you want to plug it in right there. That way you leave out the entire chat adapter in all possible ways, and you just plug it right in like the old days, which is super nice and amazing. So the real question comes down to, what controller should you get? Between Scuf, Cinch, Xbox Elite, or a Battle Beaver. Now, this is all on preference. I'm not telling you what controller company is the best. I'm not telling you which one you truly need to go for or any way, shape, or form. I'm just right here, right now, pointing out points on these controllers to you. Or, well, mainly this controller to you and the Scufs. But, Scuf has recently basically given their patents to Xbox. With the new Scuf Infinities, you can change all color schemes on these controllers and everything, and practically do everything with this controller. We might see Microsoft come out with some mod kits to do that for the Xbox One Elite controller, but we're not exactly sure. So Scuf's has set itself up fairly well. Now with Cinch, you obviously have the buttons on the side, which are very close to your hand, which is actually now what this controller does, is brings the paddles closer to your fingers, but they're very easy to touch, whereas Cinches are very nice and easy to press, but they're not going to be pressed if you tighten or clench your hands or anything like this controller does. Cinch now is going to be coming out with a smart controller, which is super nice because it maps your entire game style, gameplay onto the computer, so you can see your true raw skill at any type of game, which is awesome to be able to make it so that the controller can be customized to how you play and make you better on the in-game. Battle Beaver, I have no idea what they're doing. So, back to the controllers. In reality of it all, it's all on preference, on what you like and what you are comfortable with. If you want to know your raw talent and skill, go with a Cinch. If you want to just be able to customize the controller to however possible way you want. Oh, we're up to 491 subscribers. Nice. Thank you all. But anyhow, depending on how you want to do it, that's all it is up to you. If you want to customize your controller to the best ability, then you really want to go with a Scuf or a Cinch because you can change the color scheme, whereas this one is set to the silver and black, which looks like professional as all can get out. But in the end, like I said, it's all about your preference and what company you feel like going for. I highly suggest any of the companies, in all honesty. But if if you don't want to spend a $200 on a controller, and you really feel that this controller can be what you feel it can be, then go for this. That's all I can say. It's really it's not about if you can afford it. It's do you want to afford it? That's the real question. Is the affordability? This is going to be probably your cheapest version controller. I mean, Battle Beavers are pretty cheap in price range, but if you want a very customizable controller without the color customizing, this would be your best bet in pricing. But other than that, guys, if you have any questions about Scuf, Cinch, or the Xbox One Elite controller, please comment below. I will definitely respond to you without, any hesitation. And as always, guys, play, comment, subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Keep gaming. Have a good one.